Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, these seekers and sojourners of truth, wherever you are, the 144, chosen of the chosen few, I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Celestial Earth, and this ever so much divine energy essence of it all, reporting to you live from nowhere other than dimension number 5. All those who are in the 5th dimension and beyond, please stand up and stand in. Get it wherever you get in. As usual, I'm bringing you the news to infuse, if you so choose to infuse with that light. And the light grid is gridding. If not, you can always refuse, but be prepared to be fried on the grid. So with that, this is a new moon update, so to speak. The new moon in Scorpio that we just had very recently. So, and it's been so busy. Like, I've really been feeling the energies, the shadows, everything has been coming up. The waters we're having the emotional flush and everything. So it did take a minute for me to get this to you. With that said, let me first do some sweeping. The bill for those of you who can give, I'm still taking donations. We're almost at our first goal of getting someone the shelter that they need. So we're just $200 away. If you feel like you can reach out and donate whatever you can give, any little bit can help to make it count. So you can also do that at the description at the through Zelle at Aquila Textry, not Divine Energy. Don't go to that email. AquilaTextry@gmail.com, and that'll be in the description. With that said, and you can look at the shorts. I gave an update on one of the shorts. If you didn't get to see it, if it didn't reach you, it's in the shorts. Also, the Sacral Chakra Workshop is coming up, the 3-day Sacral Chakra Workshop. Not this weekend, coming up though, what you call the holiday weekend, 28th, 29th, 30th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yes, I'm doing it on that weekend because, I don't do holidays, holy days. So for those who are serious about stepping out the matrix and ready to get deeper into your sacral, activating that sacral, this is the time. Energy is telling me we will not deviate, around it. So it's sacral. Sacral is emotional body. So get out your feelings to get in your feelings, if you know what I mean, and see what the dealings really are. And so that'll be that weekend, 28th, 29th, 30th. Next thing is the 5D calendars are still available at a 5D corner near you. You can also get that through the same email, contacting through that email of AquilaTextry@gmail.com. Now, with that said, with all of that closed out, and there will be some more updates coming out, but for now, we'll close out with that for the sweeping, the housekeeping, and we'll get into this new moon energy. So with this, it is a echoing from beginning to end. This is the beginning of a new moon cycle, but as you can see, it's happening at 28 degrees. For those who don't know, it's the moon. The new moon is when the moon and the sun are in alignment. They are both together in Scorpio at 28 degrees, and they are not alone. No, they're not alone. Mercury is with them. As Mercury retrogrades, it is also with them at 28 degrees, and that 28 also says something. The 28, 2 and 8 is 10, and 10 is new beginnings, or it can be looked at as like the binary codes, the God frequency. It is about that beginning, coming from the 0, out of the birth of the 0 and onto the first step of the 1. The 0 being the feminine energy, the 1 being the masculine energy. Take the first step, do something is what you're taking that step. That's action, which is masculine energy. And the 0 is the feminine energy, of which it has given birth to it, right? After the 9, it's the completion, and out of the womb, the 0. So it's that compiled, that number that is just exuding the new beginning. And the beginning happens to be at the end of the Scorpio season. So the Scorpio season is at its close. which I did the video on that, the emotional flush. Get a chance to look at that if you haven't. Really going into what's happening during that whole retrograde month. Now we're still in retrograde. There's a lot of planets still in retrograde as we're still in this month, the month of November, as it is known on the Gregorian calendar. The Scorpion month is over. We have now entered into the Sagittarius month, but it's still, according to the collective consciousness, it's still the month of November, which gives us an extension, if you will, on the Scorpionic energies. So this new moon, new cycle with the theme of the new moon of Scorpio, so it kind of extends what we were to get out of the Scorpio. So for those who didn't get it that month, you have some time. That's how I see it. We got a little bit of extra time. We can utilize this existing in their November month, because this goes to the end of November. Mercury will be coming out of its retrograde on the 29th at the end. And I believe another planet might be exiting out maybe the beginning of December. Black Moon Lilith is going to be leaving Scorpio in the beginning of December. So all within that first decan of the Sagittarius season, those planets are going to be leaving. The retrograde is going to kind of be loosening its grip, but we'll still have some other planets in retrograde, the other outer planets, right? Like Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn will still be in their retrograde. And those are some major hitters. Those are the outer planets. So what we're seeing is this extension, this new moon is giving us, and we're feeling the emotional drift or rift, if you will. That's why the emotional flush was important to pay attention to. And the new moon was like, here you go. It's bringing it right to your front door. It's saying, face this. This is the new beginning, the beginning to end, or the beginning at the end of something. So a lot of us were feeling some closures. Oh boy, have we. I know I was. So it's bringing up the shadows, and Mercury is really remember, Mercury with them at 28 degrees is the messenger. It's showing through communication. So some of you may have been very vocal. I know I have been, whether you have meant to or it just came out. But it was time to bring the communication of what has been in the shadows to the forefront. Right? We got the sun. The sun is our outer world. The moon is our inner world. So it's where the inner world meets the outer world. And Mercury is like, let me help you out while it's in its retrograde. So it may feel a little uncomfortable. It may have felt a little ugly. However, it was necessary. So it was that beginning. In order for us to have that fresh start, that new beginning, that we needed to allow the Scorpionic energies to bring from the depths of the waters, the deep waters of emotions, the deep well of emotions, things that have not been said, things that have not been faced, that have just been lurking in the shadows, needed to come to the forefront, right? And the sun, just think of the sun highlighting that, and Mercury right there is like boom, and here's the highlighting of all of that. So the beginning to end has this feeling of, we may feel some grief. I have been feeling a lot of grief as I sit outside, particularly yesterday, as I sat outside, feeling just tears coming to my eyes right away. That's been happening a lot when I connect with the earth, because there's this collective grief. And while feeling the grief, it's looking towards the new beginning. While processing your grief, asking yourself, what is this loss saying to me? What is the perspective of this loss that I need to change, that I need to alchemize, to see that it is not really a loss at all, but it is something that needed to fall away so that I can have a greater gain into this next abundance, into the next level of where I'm going, into this new beginning. There has to be that end. So we're birthing. It's kind of like we were in labor. These were some labor pains. We were birthing through. We reached that 9th month, and it was time to come out and birth through. So birthing that you have been holding, right? Black Moon Lilith spends 9 months and she's closing out her 9 months. It is time to give birth. And if you haven't already done so, this new moon cycle is definitely going to be the extension of this Scorpionic energy that is going to help you to really pull out, give birth to. Some of you may still be in labor. That's okay, right? As Mercury exits on the 29th of the month, as we close out by the end of this week, we will feel the passing through, the passage, the birthing, so that we can come into that new, so we can attach to this new beginning that is at the end. It's the Alpha and the Omega, beginning and the end, right where we stand. Ashe. So, and there's some planets that are also in play that I want to get into, but let me share this download with you real quick that I had gotten previously before, so pretty much saved it for it to highlight this overlay of an extension. So there's an overlay extension of the retrograde month of Scorpio, right, as a new moon approaches, and it introduces a new moon cycle of new beginnings through these Scorpionic energies at the end of the Scorpio month. It is what we have, as I've just mentioned, it is the beginning of an end, as new beginnings are being echoed, because that's what we're hearing. It's the echo 28, 28, 28, 10, 10, 10, the echo of new beginnings. Are you ready to begin something new? This is from beginning to end. All right, so the echoes of the retrograde month of Scorpio continues into Sagittarius month, particularly up to the end of November, as I've mentioned, as the collective consciousness holds this month, as I've mentioned before. So it holds that month being to the end of November. So consider it continuing all the way there, which is when Mercury ends its retrograde on that 29th. And that 29 has a code of 11. I'm going to get to that in a minute as the sun moves into the 29th degree. So Mercury, which is our planet of communication and travel, goes into retrograde during the second decan of which is what I call the transition decan, but the second decan in the Scorpio month. So it went into retrograde while we were in the middle of our Scorpio month, and it continues in that retrograde. It continues into all the way into the first decan in the Sagittarius month, because as I said, it goes direct on the 29th of November, which will be in the first decan of the Sagittarius month, where it would have traveled from Sagittarius into Scorpio. Excuse my loud neighbors, these are the distractions, right? Where it would have traveled from Sagittarius into Scorpio during that retrograde. What am I saying here? Like, if you can notice, there's this interplay, this interchange. Mercury was coming out of Sagittarius as it retrograde into Scorpio, and then throughout its retrograde, as it is right now, it's in Scorpio as we now enter into Sagittarius, and it won't return until we are in that first decan of Sagittarius, coming back out of Scorpio. So it's coming from Sagittarius into Scorpio, staying in Scorpio in its retrograde, because it's helping to bring that communication into the Scorpio energies. It's helping to bring us back, to look back. Remember, the retrograde is to course correct, to respect what it is that we're seeing. So it's bringing a little bit of upheaval, but for good cause. And it's bringing it into the Scorpio house, into the energy, so it can help to highlight what it's like, being the voice of those shadows that some of us may not still be adhering to or being able to see. And it's like, let me help you out. So it retrogrades back into Scorpio, and where Venus is helping to even bring it to our feminine energies, bringing it to the awareness, as Venus is in Scorpio, right? So relationships are being focused on as well. How have we been showing up in relationships? How have relationships been showing up with us? This is all part of finding the true essence of true service, South Node in Virgo, remembering that All of this is working collectively and intrinsically to help us detach, as this was the elimination month, to detach. So this new moon is echoing that. We have an opportunity in this whole new moon cycle, even as we enter into the Sagittarius month, we have an opportunity to within this cycle, meaning up to the next new moon then. So up until the, let's say about the 20th, 19th or 20th of the next month, to work this Scorpionic energy through this cycle with a little bit more ease as we enter into Sagittarius. Right? So consider that a blessing that we're being shown this. It may not feel so hot, even though it's hot. But Black Moon Lilith is really like kicking up that dust. She's really helping us with that, is how I was seeing that. It's like, man, she's really kicking up some dust. So with that, let me go into the 9th month, the 29th degrees. I want us to kind of look at that. So there's these other planets in retrograde at 29 degrees. Pisces, Neptune in Pisces at 29 degrees, and Uranus in Taurus at 29 degrees, and they're in a sextile. So there's that communication between them as well, where Neptune is really helping us to still break away the illusions, closing out karmic cycles, closing out in Pisces. Pisces is the end of the cosmic calendar, or the astrological calendar, however you choose to look at it. It is closure of an entire cycle. So this is years, this is lifetimes of closure for those who are willing to accept that and allow themselves to see that you're working through closing multiple timelines, some of you. So there is that Neptune at 29 degrees, and then there is Taurus at 29 degrees, and both are not Taurus at 29 degrees, Uranus in Taurus at 29 degrees, and Uranus is that radical change, and it's back in Taurus that is changing our perspectives in the earth. And remember, as it's leaving, as it closes back out, when it goes direct and finally leaves its final footnote, so to speak, and so will Neptune. This is their final, retrograde back and dipping back into these signs before they go forward into the next sign, never to look back. So this is our final opportunity to break these illusions, to have these radical changes in how we view the material things in this earth. And so before it leaves Taurus, Chiron will then be entering into Taurus. And we'll talk about that at a later date. Just keeping that in mind, once it leaves, it's like Taurus, the energies are really helping us to break free from the way we have our perspectives in the material world, which is, what Taurus represents, and even Venus, who rules Taurus. So even while Venus is in Scorpio, going through the shadows and getting this death to rebirth transformation, it's still helping to remind her in her feminine energies, to remind us of what doesn't belong even within Taurus, as she also rules Taurus. Right, reminding her the injustices, as we're looking for balance, because she also rules Libra. So what are the things that we need to not be looking at anymore? Right, I just did a release, ultimately on a cutting cord release that I may share in a short, that allowed us to release those stories that people have held over us, the injustices that we know that people have put out against our name, against our light, those opposition energies. It is time to cut the cords with that. And so there's also this death to rebirth with Venus, is the way she rules justice in Libra. We're not seeking for justice in the way that we were anymore. It's like death to that. We're having a closure and we're cutting the cords, and in that we're finding true justice for ourselves. The justice that says, I show up for myself and I see how I have allowed this, and I'm taking my power back, rather than leaving the power in the hands of others and seeking justice through others. So that's the balance in itself. And she's getting that look, that on look, and Mercury is helping her, as Mercury has retrograde back in Scorpio and is bringing that information through the depths of the emotions to say, here, look at this. So Venus can go, oh, okay, I need to revamp how I look at material things and possessions and relationships. I need to revamp how I look at justice for all by finding justice within myself, right? And this is also helping out where our South Node was at when it was in Libra, because that's what it was also asking for in finding true justice, not through others, but within self. This is a very mature level. This is a maturation of Venus, so to speak, and that feminine energy. So with the back to the 29 degrees, after the sun leaves this 28 degree conjunction with the moon and Mercury, it goes into the next degree of 29 degrees into Scorpio. And as it does, 29 degrees, it is meeting with the 29 degrees of Neptune and Uranus where they are. And let me highlight this. Their degrees is 29 degrees and 29 minutes. So there's this code. The 2 and the 9 is 11. So there's this code of 1111. And mind you, we're closing out in the month of November being the 11th month, 1111 month. This whole month has a code of 1111. So all this destruction and devastation is the demolition derby to bring us to our enlightenment that I spoke about. If you didn't get to see that video, you can look at the 1111 video where we're talking about that destruction that brings us into enlightenment. So here it is being echoed again, 29 degrees and 29 minutes, Neptune in Pisces. That's an 1111. There's some destruction, like we're seeing in the illusion of things. There's illusions breaking apart, but in the way of destruction, demolition, so that you can be enlightened. You are getting enlightened through this Neptune in Pisces. And with also Uranus in Taurus, 1111, 29 degrees at 29 minutes. It's an 1111 code into the demolition of the old perspectives of how we see our material things. Those perspectives are completely being destructed and destroyed. So there are things that are happening in your life. I know it may not seem nice right now. You may be saying, why me? But I have to say the energies are saying, why not you? Chosen one of the chosen few. It has to happen so that you can release the way that you have looked at these things. It has to be completely demolished for you to be enlightened. It's time for your enlightenment. So the energies are saying now, embrace your enlightenment. Why not you? Yes, the finances are looking crazy. Why not you? Because it's asking you to deconstruct the way that you have thought finances should be, the way how you have been going about establishing money, fiat money and currency, when your true currency is energy. Can you grasp that? Can we be enlightened to the truth that our true currency is your energy? It's not this and it's not digital either. But how we interplay in it determines how we are also in bondage of it. And it's looking to liberate us. All right, let's not forget Pluto, death to rebirth transformation in Aquarius, which is squared with Scorpio. So squared with the new moon. And it's saying, hey, we need this revelation of truth. So let this 1111 portal, so to speak, it's another portal through the interplay of the planets, 1111, 1111, and then the sun at 29 degrees, and wherever it reached 29 degrees and 29 minutes, that was a trinity. 1, 2, 3, a trifold, a trinity of this 1111. That means it was brought to the light. With the sun in play with these two planets, whatever it is has been brought to the light. There's something that you have gained recently, right just past this new moon, or within the new moon, but just past this new moon, as the sun went into 29 degrees to help bring it into the light for you. The illusions that needed to be dismantled in Neptune and Uranus, the radical changes in your perspective and your concepts that needed to happen. that was being brought to the light. So you know what it is right now. For many of you, you know what I'm talking about. There's something where you got this epiphany with this new moon energy, or you got this aha moment with this new moon energy as the sun went into 29 degrees. Ashe. So also with that, just look into that 11 11 11. At the end of the 11 11 month, we got this 11 11 11. On the day of the new moon, we got this 10 10 10. So there's a count up happening. There's a 1 2 3 happening. I'm looking for the 3. We got the 1 and the 2, because 11 is really a 2, the 1 and the 1. So we got the 1 2. All right, and this is also in accordance even with what's happening with the cosmic messenger, as it has been bringing messages to us, and we're in that count up as well. 1 2 3. All right, the month after the eclipse, which was around the Virgo season. So there's Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, or some may look at it as October, November, December. 1 2 3. It's the count up is on. Right? And so with that said, just breathing in all of that. You may be going through it, but it is okay. It is for the better. One of the messages I'd like to share with you that I got is that we're getting able to take the opportunity. This is the opportunity to remember. I'm gonna make this a night to remember. Get ready, baby, tonight. Darling, I'ma make this a... Okay, y'all know I'm gonna stop right there, but you get the point. Making this a night to remember, making this a moment to remember. So remember, as in being a part of the remembering, we're getting the opportunity to know the betrayals, everything that you're feeling, especially my chosen ones. The bifurcation is real. We're still in the bifurcation. It's happening. The timelines are collapsing. The timelines are splitting. It's all a part of this. So this is all helping to help you cross over that bridge into the next timeline, to be a bridge for others to see the bridge, all of that, to cross over. This is that moment in time, and it's reminding you the challenges are the opportunities, and it's reminding you, hey, this is happening so that you can detach. That's why I'm doing the detox to detach right now. For those who are in it, you know that this is adding to what we're gaining out of this, right? And I can say through experience, that's why I can share this with you. There is a detaching that has to happen. So the things that are happening are helping you to detach your concepts, the way you've held on to them, to detach from it and say, okay, this is not for me. You know why? Because you need to remember who you are. So not looking for any validation or anything from humanity, any support from humanity. Love humanity, but you're also being reminded in these challenges to take the opportunity to remember who you are and why you're here. So it's not about what can be reciprocated from them, although reciprocity is great. But look to the hills from whence cometh my help. Look to the higher ups. Look into your higher self. And remember your cosmic design, the star seed that you are. It wants you to remember. These are triggers that wants you to remember that you're here for a bigger cause. You're not here for them. You're not here for that situation. You're not here for that earthly matter. Do what you can and do what you must, but be detached and remember who you are. Ashe? So lastly, what I want to remind us is the grand water trine, which is highlighting also so much. We're still in that grand water trine, which are the planets that are in the water signs: Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. Jupiter being in Cancer, in which Jupiter is in retrograde as well. So that with the Pisces and the waters, as I was seeing it, was, if you look at coming from Scorpio, the deep waters in this triad here, the deep waters into that are carrying us. It's like we're going deep into these waters to be carried into the raging emotion. All of these are emotions. Waters represent emotions, energy and motion, the sacral chakra. This is why it's important, if you can get into this sacral chakra, please don't let it miss you. Ashe. And for those of you who have done the root chakra one, you will be getting it at a very discounted rate. Ashe. So it's 66 for the 3 days, but for those who've been in the root chakra, you get it for 33. Woo woo. So, and this is for all 3 days. And so the sacral chakra being the one that really helps us look into the element of water, the emotional body. These waters are coming from, these emotions are coming from deep emotions in Scorpio into the raging waters of Cancer, into the open waters of Pisces, the vast open sea of cosmic consciousness, the spiritual house. But we have to first go through these. We have to take it really deep, and those deep emotions are going to take us into the raging waters. You know how Cancer could be that maternal energy, that protective mother energy that has us like this, and that Jupiter is expanding that while in retrograde, because it's having us look back at some things that are going on there. And I'll speak more about the retrograde months. There's a part 2 video coming up about the retrograde months, so we'll dive more into that. I want to focus more on this new moon energy and the extension that it's given us and what to look into. So the emotions are really kicking up, but it's bringing us to that open ocean of the spiritual house, in our cosmic consciousness. So bringing us to that where Saturn and Neptune are, where it's showing you, hey, look, Saturn is having us look at our responsibilities. It's asking us to look back and really truly respect what you are responsible for and to do. While Neptune is saying break these illusions. We have to remove these illusions that we have been doubled down in, things in our families, things in tradition, things in the world, society, globally. Do not fall for all the illusions that want to be cast over you right now, but go into asking, what is the responsibility? Where is my accountability? And that is what Saturn is doing. Those are in the open waters, but allow the deep waters to take you through the raging waters into the open, vast ocean of just cosmic everything, just the heart expansion. This is an expansion. So this overlay, as I said, Scorpio new moon overlays the Scorpion month of retrograde. So it's really taking us into that cycle, and that's what I want us to understand. In this new moon cycle, take the opportunity to do whatever you probably didn't get to do in the Scorpio month. It was very highlighted during the Scorpio month because while the sun is in Scorpio, it's really brought to the forefront. And although the sun is moved into Sagittarius, you have been blessed with the new moon in Scorpio to have this new moon cycle be themed off of the Scorpionic energy, so you can kind of take that with you and still have some things being highlighted to you if you choose to continue to look into the depths and allow it to be highlighted to you, right? Allowing Black Moon Lilith to, work her magic. So bringing to the forefront of what's happening is everything is being brought to the forefront, as I mentioned. And Lilith is kicking up the dust of all these shadows. Shadows being brought to the forefront. Lilith is like just kicking it up. And she's bringing those shadows, but it's for us to release it. The shadows are being brought not for you to double down in it, but for you to face it so that you can release it and step into your next timeline. This is what humanity is being brought to face. 5D specifically. This is the divine idea that is being brought into the 5th dimension, to the collective of the 5th dimension, to the world, but those who are even more aware that we're being brought into this. Release it. Face your shadow so you can release it, and so that we can cross that bridge into the next timeline, so we can have that enlightenment 1111. It's not going to happen until we release what can no longer serve us. We can't take it with us. It has to be dropped off before crossing that bridge. So face it so you can see it, so you can fix it. Ashe. So I'm going to leave it there. Leave it right there. Thank you for new mooning with me faithfully. There's something here that was able to grasp or speak to you about the overlaying extension of these Scorpionic energies and having the opportunity to remember who you are and why you're here. Embrace it. 11/11. Embrace the rest of this 11/11 month and the other 11/11 codes. So with that said, reminders, you can still donate for the Bill for Build. You can, the Bill for Build Jamaica Trust. You can still get your calendars at the akilatextry@gmail.com, and you can sign up for the Sacral Chakra Workshop. And how could I forget? The next full moon cycle Divine Chakra Moon Workshop. There you go. The next one is actually coming sooner than I thought. I've been so busy with the detox, the detach. It's actually coming up with the next full moon, which is on the 4th of December. So we will begin. That is a 7-day workshop that we will begin on the 1st. And I do that quarterly. The last one was in September. This one is now. The next one won't be until March. So